The last ever cinema is closing its doors. Empty cinemas across the world are laying to waste. Or are they? We'll find out in another universe. So the idea of living in this world without cinemas, maybe 10 years ago, 15 years ago, seemed like something I couldn't foresee. But now, with the strength of streaming services and the growth of streaming services, we've got Netflix, we've got Disney's alternative to Netflix, we have Hulu, we have many more, Amazon Prime. You can understand why the idea of cinema being destroyed, becoming a reality, this is something I can definitely see happening now. I can see a future without cinema, and I can see why it ended. I can see the future through the lens of streaming services. Streaming services and our laziness, and also the prices of cinemas, are going to make this reality a future. So with this cinema apocalypse, if you like, we're going to have loads of empty buildings, really large spaces, doing nothing. So what becomes of them? I have an idea which I think would be very acceptable and very, a nice gesture towards the cinema world. I want all of these empty spaces to become virtual cinema experiences, or virtual cinema museums, if you like. It would be a bit more entertaining. So you go into these virtual cinema museum experiences, and the idea of it is that you go in and you feel what it was like to go into an old cinema back in the day, in its prime. There's like 3D, you put 3D glasses on, you go in there, and there's people running around, there's a busy atmosphere, people are having fun in there, they're excited to go and see their favourite films, The Dark Knight, Empire Strikes Back, Bambi, I don't know, whatever your favourite film is. And you get to experience that love for cinema that has now been forgotten because cinemas no longer exist. And imagine it, you can go in and you don't actually watch films in there, you just watch the experience of people watching films and taking in that full cinema experience. Also, you could have characters come from out of them films, say you have Darth Vader, he comes out and he's a VR virtual reality thing, a hologram, and he's there, and you get to see the characters from some of the greatest movies of all time, Jaws. You get to see all these cool characters come to life in this virtual museum of cinema and cinemas as well. In another universe, there are a lot of people that still mourn the death of cinemas. And they look back and say to themselves, how could our cinemas have been saved? And they keep on looking back and keep on thinking to themselves, how could we have saved the cinema industry? And if I was one of those people, I think my ideas would be simple. Simple but effective ideas to really make cinema better, make it a better experience so it didn't have to become obsolete. It could have grown and become a new experience altogether. You're not just watching a film, you need to create something else within that cinema experience. So here's one of my ideas. throughout your film, you're watching a film, and say, again, let's go to Star Wars. I'm a Star Wars fan. Halfway through the film, you're watching it, and then suddenly, out of nowhere, Darth Maul just jumps in. Someone dressed as Darth Maul jumps out and just starts attacking you. Not violently, but just sort of like pushing you around, just basically scaring the living daylights out of you. The film is paused, so it doesn't affect the experience. You just get petrified in the process. But imagine that. That would be cool. You wouldn't know it would come, and it's not got to be every time. It could be something similar to like this, but not every time. And obviously, not everyone gets spooked out. Some people will be enjoying this and laughing their pants off at the idea of someone getting spooked out by one of the characters from the movie. Or maybe I should not Darth Maul. It should have been Kylo Ren. I made a mistake. I'm sorry, but that could be the idea. Just little novelties like that. We need to bring an edge to the cinema viewing experience, and adding that in would be exciting. If you're maybe not down for the idea of getting attacked by a movie character during your movie experience, maybe cinemas could just bundle together and just say, we're going to drop prices. Because dropping prices would be a fantastic idea to get more people into cinemas. Look, cinema owners, cinema managers, cinema corporations, the reason no one is going to your cinemas anymore is because they can sign up to a streaming service for £10 a month and watch as many movies as they want. Why would they want to go to a cinema now that is derelict? No one goes to, there's no atmosphere, and they're paying £10 or even more for one movie. You do the math, it's silly. That's why cinemas are dying, and that's why in another universe, they're already dead. It's on you, cinemas. It's all on you. Streaming services like Netflix could actually be the saviours for cinema in the future. Imagine a world where, as part of your Netflix or any other sort of TV subscription, movie subscription services, your subscription, imagine if you had access to movies. Now, I know there has been services like this that have came out before where you can get a cinema pass, and with these cinema passes you get obviously so many movies you get to watch a month, but it needs to be incorporated into these big streaming services like Netflix. So imagine this, you've got your streaming services for £10 a month. What if you added in, what if Netflix come to an agreement with loads of these cinema companies to say, as part of this subscription, you get to watch at least 1 or 2 movies a month, and then from that, the cinemas also get a wedge of the takings, but also, it's all about the experience of cinema. For me, it is anyway. What they need to do is incorporate that offer, that deal on certain days. So then it fills out the cinemas, really fills them out. And then when you go to the cinema, you get that full-on cinema experience. You are there in a full cinema, not just a derelict cinema. It's the togetherness of everyone watching a movie at the same time and seeing that same emotion and the same reactions from everyone else and getting that wave of the ooh and the ahs and the oh no. Han Solo is dead. He is dead. Spoiler warning. In the future, we could live in the world where cinema no longer exists. But you've got to have some hope and positivity within your mind right now, because cinema can be saved. It can be. There are ways to save cinema. But also, if we do end up living in another universe in the future where cinema doesn't exist, we will have the virtual cinema museum experiences. And they will be exceptional. You just got a taste of the future in another universe.